Hey yo, Choice here. Thank you so much for joining me again for another session of Choice Spirit. Thank you. I want to speak a little bit about relationships. Relationships. You ever find yourself in the same old thing? I'm not talking about you guys that stay in a committed relationship over a long period of time. It's just perfect. Hey, tell me about it, comment. Interesting. But for the majority of us, if we, if some are in and out of relationships, but even friendships, and you find yourself attracting a certain type of friend that you feel comes up against you at some point in time, or a man in your life or a woman in your life, and then somewhere you begin experiencing some type of issue that keeps coming into your relationships. Every time you get one, you run into the same type of thing. But guess what? You're not aware that you're running into the same thing, because even in the way that you handle it, you're either complaining, blaming, and not taking responsibility. Or maybe taking responsibility but not making the change. You see? So what happens is you find yourself going through similar people, similar types of individuals. Like hopping out of one relationship before you are healed and, put yourself back together again, you're in the next one. And you go into the next one with your old way of thinking, your own old mindset, with your truckload of leftovers from the last one. I won't say garbage, because it's not really garbage. It's instrumental. It's actually food for growth. So I won't call it garbage, but it is a truckload of stuff that you take into the next one. So now you have double load. Because 99.9999, if there's such a thing, percent, you haven't moved on. You haven't moved on. You just replaced one trait for the same trait with a different face. Different body, different face. Maybe, I don't know, it may even be the same body, similar face and everything. Hey, we know what to do. You have to change you. You don't even consider moving on, bringing your stuff from the last thing into the new thing and expecting it to be better. Because this is what happens, even if you get lucky on a good day. This means you've been vibing right for a while. So your vibe is high. And you happen to run into that special someone when your vibe is high. And it's so nice. Male or female, whatever. It's so nice. And you're like, wow. Wow. But your coasting vibe, remember I talked about? Your coasting vibe, that means your normal vibe. What you normally vibe at that level. If it's not handled, it's going to eventually kick in. And that person that came into your life at the time when you were vibing high, and when they came into your life, that vibe high got even higher because they brought some energy to it. If the person, if you were vibing high, you attracted a vibing, a person that is somewhat, okay. There could be other ways. Sometimes you're vibing high, but the residue from your some of your old funk is trailing behind you, and that's what picked up the new person in your life. So really, their vibe is in alignment with the funk that was trailing behind you. I, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Okay, just hear me out. But then there's times when you're vibing high, and the person you meet is part of the high stuff. But then when you have your moments and you sink low, and it becomes consistent, the person that you met when you were flying high either has to lower their vibrational state or try to maintain a high enough state until you can pull yourself back up, or they have to move on. They're not going to be able to exist in a vibratory frequency that is not in alignment with them. They will either have to come down to where you are, or either rise up higher in order to work with you until you get up, or either they have to go. They won't be able to stay in the relationship with you. It's not going to work. And the same goes if your funk attracted somebody in a lower state when you were in a lower state, and they come in, then you're just going to go back to your natural, to what you coast at, what your natural, what your not natural, but what your normal vibe is. If it's low and then you run with someone low, it's just going to be low. The two on low. That's it. And if neither one of you can see past that, then both will just be at that place. And I talked about ascending, descending, or just looping in the same frequency. Well, chances are you'll just be there. You know what I mean? Until something comes up or somebody wakes up, somebody opens one eye and say, hey, look, we can do better than this. And then both of you work to rise together, to lift up together and begin to raise the frequency. So when two or more come together, it's on. No telling where you can go if you're both ready to go. But this is how it works. So you can only attract what you can relate to vibrationally. It's like evenly yoked type thing. And if you happen to yoke up with someone that is not at your vibratory space, they either got to go, come low, or rise up and either be apart or be gone. And if you bring someone in that's trailing on the funk of some old stuff that you haven't quite cleared with, and you bring them in there, either both of you going low or both of you just going to stay wherever that is until one lifts up, open the eye and say, you know what, we either have to do better together, or I'm just going to have to move on out of here. So a little bit food for thought. It's always good to be reminded, because we can't see ourselves. We cannot see ourselves. We're projected. What we are going through is projected on the outside. But sometimes even when we see the projection, it's like this, what they call cognitive dissonance, is when you see it, everything is clear as day, but your brain cannot accept it. So, and we'll go into that another day. But anyway, much love. Choice here. Peace. Namaste.